Tonight we're going in depth on sports betting because all bills to legalize sports betting, including the one that would have given it to you and me for a statewide vote, died today on the floor of the state Senate. State lawmakers wanted to get this done this session, but we found out today the groups that would implement sports betting if it is legalized cannot find a path forward yet. At the start of this year's legislative session, it looked like this year was going to be the year sports betting was legalized in Oklahoma.
We are very serious about getting sports betting in the state of Oklahoma.
But no matter how much state lawmakers and their constituents wanted it, Ponca City Republican Senator Bill Coleman, the Senate's chief supporter of sports betting, says those responsible for implementing it are not ready. And by the close of business Thursday, the last of 5 bills to legalize sports betting died, at least for this year.
There were some issues with some of the parties involved, just couldn't come to an agreement. I forget which actual part it was, but he said it was his choice. He came to me, it wasn't, we were trying to figure out a path forward.
Senate Pro Tem Lonnie Paxton says Coleman voiced concerns that the parties responsible for implementing sports betting were not in agreement on the path forward, and so all proposals should be on hold.
He came to me, it wasn't, we were trying to figure out a path forward and, to move forward with this. And he came to me and said that it'd probably be better off if we just studied this over the summer and put it in an interim study.
One bill would have simply amended the tribal gaming compact, like what was done for dice and table games under Governor Fallin. But it was dead on arrival to Governor Stitt's desk, even if it passed the Senate before Thursday's critical deadline. And with it, a plan to bypass Stitt and give the issue to voters is also on hold until next year.
The tribes have come in to the legislature and said, run this bill that benefits us. That's not who I am as governor. I'll absolutely veto that.
Over the next few months, the Senate will hold an interim study to bring all sides to the table to try to get this done, as millions of dollars in revenue for things like roads and schools continues to go to neighboring states until sports betting is legalized in Oklahoma. In a statement to Fox 23, Senator Coleman says, quote, "I've been working on sports betting for years and truly believe Oklahoma is missing out on a significant opportunity, both economically and in terms of consumer protection. While I was initially skeptical, further research and conversations with industry leaders have shown me the significant safeguards in place to address issues like addictive behavior. Although the legislation did not move forward this session, the issue is far from dead. The biggest challenge I have noticed through this process has been a lack of communication. No one is sitting down and talking through this." We heard a lot today about there being an interim study. You even heard it in that story just now on sports betting finding a path forward. So let's look at what an interim study is. In odd numbers, non-election years, the House and the Senate can hold interim studies. They often happen in midsummer to mid-fall, sometime in that period when they are not legislating. This is the time where they can hold hearings with experts or agency heads or anyone they want to hear from, really, who can provide better insight and information about a topic lawmakers want to pass a bill on. Both parties usually have people in attendance, and when lawmakers start writing bills for the next session in December, the things they learned are usually included in those bills that they will hear from experts. There is no time for these kinds of hearings during the fast-paced legislative session between February and May, unless in an emergency situation like what we're seeing with the financial crisis at the Department of Mental Health. Because sports betting is dead for now this legislative session, that also gives lawmakers the ability to address protections for student athletes. You may remember I spoke with Oklahoma City Democratic Representative Mickey Dollins, who played football for Southern Methodist University when he was in college, about students being hazed when someone makes a prop bet about their specific performance.
With the explosion of online sports betting, the harassment towards these kids, college athletes, yeah, they're getting paid. Not all of them. That's just, a select few. But you miss a free throw, and they get harassed publicly and in their direct messages as well. And it's taken a severe toll on people.
In 2024, the NCAA released a survey that says 1 in 3 athletes received threatening or abusive messages from someone who lost money on a particular bet made about their performance on the field or the court. 80% of the abuse was related to bets on March Madness performance. 4 states have already made it illegal to place a prop bet against an athlete. In those states, you can only bet on the teams, the outcome, and team statistics. The tribes in the Tulsa metro have already made changes to their physical buildings to get ready for the day sports betting is legalized in Oklahoma.
We're ready whenever sports betting is legalized in the state of Oklahoma. We're immediately ready. We have guests asking all the time, "Where's your sports book? Where's your sports book? Where we can make a bet?"
Almost 1 year ago, we showed you this, the ribbon cutting of the Gridiron Sports Bar at River Spirit Casino in South Tulsa. The Muskogee Nation opened Gridiron for now as a place where you can eat and drink and watch sports while enjoying the rest of the facility. But when the day comes when sports betting is legal in Oklahoma, the tribe told us the sports bar can quickly be converted into a sports book hub for them. Meanwhile, if you've been watching the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA playoffs, the irony of not being able to bet on sports while having sports betting apps shoved in your face will continue. In a state where there is no legal sports betting app FanDuel not only paid to have their logo virtually on the screen, but they also paid to have their logos physically and virtually in place at the Paycom Center. So many people across the country and in states that have legal sports betting were and are watching and gambling. That company went ahead and bought these types of logo placements, even on a game in a state where sports betting is not legal at this time. One of the big reasons lawmakers were so eager to get sports betting legalized in Oklahoma is because neighboring states are making millions of dollars off of us, and they will continue to do so for at least another year. Every state touching Oklahoma except Texas has legal sports betting. New Mexico requires you to place your bets at a physical location, but Kansas, Arkansas, Colorado, Louisiana, and Missouri simply let you place your bet in an app as long as your phone pings off of a cell phone tower within their state's boundaries. So you don't even have to drive deep into a neighboring state to do this. We do need to address something some of you keep posting in the comments section of our coverage of sports betting that simply is not true. Some of you have posted repeatedly that this is tribal land, they don't have to listen to the state at all, the tribes can do whatever they want, and no one will get in trouble. That is flat out wrong, and we can point to federal law. The Indian Gaming Regulatory Act of 1988 grants tribes the exclusive right to regulate gaming on their lands unless a specific state prohibits a certain type of gaming. Right now, sports betting is prohibited. However, states can regulate tribal gaming if they have tribes can regulate if they have federally approved agreements between the tribe and the state. In just explaining all of this to you, you can see the complex layers at work here and why this isn't just as easy as passing a law and voila, we have sports betting. But the appetite is still there, and we will follow the interim study this coming summer to see what the new game plan moving forward may be.